The betrayal unfolded in the most elegant restaurant in the city, where the white linen tablecloths and crystal glasses gleamed under golden evening light, masking the emotional execution my children had planned. Penelope, with her fake smile and emerald green dress I'd gifted her, raved about the retirement home's knitting classes, while Charles nodded obediently in the grey suit I'd bought for his graduation, and Leo avoided my gaze, his voice thick with false concern. At 72, I'd built a real estate empire from a $5,000 investment into $1.5 million, but to them I was now confused, a different species deserving neither respect nor dignity. I'd faked memory lapses to test their love, and their swift push toward a controlled environment with therapeutic activities revealed the poison in my bloodline. When would the move be? I asked calmly, hiding the storm inside. Tomorrow, Charles replied too quickly, and when I pressed about my properties, the silence was thick, their excuses about handling the responsibility ringing hollow. That night, I spat out the sleeping pills Penelope gave me and overheard them in the kitchen, whispering greedily. The beach house at $300,000. Downtown condo at $200,000. Investments adding up to $600,000 totaling $1.5 million they'd carve up like vultures. Charles shuffled papers on the oak table where I'd signed my first contract 40 years ago. Penelope poured champagne into anniversary glasses I'd given them. Leo laughed cruelly at my feigned confusion, waiving my will and plotting to declare me incompetent. They underestimated me entirely. I reviewed investments daily, knew every value and had hidden plans. At 5 a.m., dressed in my best black pantsuit, I took my passport, hidden jewelry, and safe deposit key, fleeing by taxi to the airport for a one-way ticket to Seabrook Shores, Florida, a coastal city holding my secret property they'd never known about. The salt air slapped memories awake. This was where it began. My first $5,000 purchase as a secretary. The yellow house with green shutters awaited, dusty but perfect, a refuge I'd kept silent for decades. Inside the house, the smell of old wood and sea salt enveloped me, as I uncovered furniture like ghostly figures, revealing treasures left like seeds. A note on the kitchen table from Eliza, my loyal housekeeper fired by my children years ago, as an unnecessary expense. Read, Mrs. Whitlock, I've been waiting for you all these years. My heart skipped. Footsteps on the porch brought her in, white-haired but with the same warm eyes. She'd known I'd come after Penelope called her a month prior, probing for hidden properties and mental health details. Eliza had protected my secrets, maintaining the house monthly. In a converted office, she led me to a safe with Richard's birthday as the combination. Inside were deeds to unknown properties, international investments, a different will, and a folder marked HC, the hope center my dream of a dignified home for abandoned older women. Eliza had safeguarded it all, checking documents monthly. My plan, born 30 years ago sensing my children's entitlement, was a complex web against betrayal. Richard's wisdom echoed, never let anyone control your destiny. Eliza handed me a phone. I called Mr. Cromwell, my secret lawyer hired 5 years prior, whose own son had tried committing him. He understood. Margaret, I knew you'd call today. Are you ready? More than ready, I replied. He detailed the family meeting at 10 a.m. tomorrow at my house, with Charles, Leo, Penelope, my envious brother Tobias, and their ethically flexible lawyer Evans, all set to transfer assets. I'd arrive at 10:30 with Cromwell and Eliza, armed with original documents, year-old recordings of their confessions, and a video I'd made explaining my plans and their secrets. Penelope had even discarded Richard's love letters in the trash. Eliza retrieved them. As we reminisced, Eliza shared her life post-firing, always loyal. That night, rereading Richard's letters, his words fueled me. Fight with all the fury of a woman who knows her worth. At dawn, Cromwell confirmed my children reported me missing, building their incompetence case ironic, as I orchestrated my return as avenger. The drive back felt triumphal, with Eliza steadfast and Cromwell following, briefcase heavy with destruction. Dressed as the CEO I'd always been, I approached my house like enemy territory. Cars parked. Charles's BMW, Leo's Mercedes, Evans's unfamiliar vehicle, Tobias's truck. I rang my own doorbell. Penelope opened, her face cycling surprise, fear, calculation, fake relief. Margaret, we were so worried. Police, hospitals. I was thinking, I said, entering, making important decisions. Charles and Leo rushed in, feigning hugs I evaded. Tobias hovered uncomfortably. Cromwell knocked, introducing himself as my elder fraud specialist, draining color from their faces. He verified my mental competence with Dr. Sanchez's recent report, countering Penelope's confusion claims. Then, he played recordings. Charles wishing my death, Leo plotting incompetence, Penelope calling me stubborn and threatening a cheap home. Silence was sepulchral. Tobias looked horrified. Out of context, Charles stammered, but Cromwell had hours more, all consented. Eliza gathered their fake documents. Forged signatures, non-existent assets. Evans packed to flee, but Cromwell blocked. It's possible when robbing your mother, I said icily. Cromwell projected my true net worth. Over $5 million, revealing hidden Miami condos, Key West Hotel, tech shares, Swiss and Panama accounts. They paled at $5.2 million exactly. You underestimated me, I accused, detailing sacrifices. $80,000 education for Charles, $50,000 house down payment, $30,000 unpaid loan, $100,000 leukemia bills for Leo's son, $40,000 divorce fees, 2 years housing. Penelope's welcome as daughter despite criticism. This is how you repay. Tears of liberation flowed. I faked vulnerability as a test they failed. Eliza placed my real will. $5,000 each to Charles and Leo. Nothing for Penelope. Rest to Hope Center. Charities. Eliza. But an ultimatum. Work unpaid at Hope Center for 5 years. Proving care for elders. Or face federal charges for fraud, forgery, conspiracy. They sat like punished students as I paced like a prosecutor, savoring their shock at my true wealth and the Hope Center, a residential complex for abandoned women, with gardens, libraries, clinics, dignified apartments. Cromwell projected renderings. It was my legacy. Inspired by their betrayal, each slight added a service. Tobias admitted ignorance, spared trouble. Cromwell outlined crimes. Years in prison possible. We're your family, Charles exploded. Exactly, I retorted, betrayal unforgivable. I revealed Hope Center details. Permits ready, construction soon. Ultimatum. Work proving dignity's value or jail and no inheritance. 5 years serving elders, weekly evaluations. If we refuse. Penelope defied. Charges filed, Cromwell smiled. No negotiation evidence secured. After Cromwell left, silence choked. Charles asked if I'd arrest them. Were you putting me away? I countered. Eliza questioned my mercy. A mother hopes, I said. Next morning, Cromwell called from site. Foreman briefed on volunteers. Eliza and I arrived at 9:30. Land buzzed with tractors. Foundations marked my dream physical. At 10 o'clock, a taxi brought them in old clothes, vulnerable. We're here, Charles said. We want to try. 5 years or jail, I warned. Cromwell gave hard hats, rules. 8 to 5 hours, 0 complaints. Supervisor Mike, 30 years construction, assigned rubble moving by hand. 200 yards. They winced, complained, broke nails but worked. Lunch. Sandwiches on ground, dirty, exhausted. Afternoon. Bodies ached, but they helped each other. Charles carried for Penelope. Leo fetched water. Penelope found gloves. Small considerations absent for years. At 5 o'clock, Mike whistled end. They left aching. "Thank you for the chance," Charles said. "Not deserved yet," I replied. Dinner with Eliza. Curious about their growth. 4.5 years transformed rubble into vibrant Hope Center. Gardens bloomed, residents painted, read, yogged. Alice ran memoir programs, documenting war nurses, teachers, mothers' stories nearly lost. Charles decorated 90th birthday cakes, admiring Carmen's pioneering accounting amid sexism. "I was an idiot," he admitted, valuing age's wisdom. Leo helped Mercedes walk 10 steps, studying geriatric therapy nightly. Penelope massaged arthritic hands, proposing salon for dignity. Now managing it, her beauty natural, eyes compassionate. "I regret blindness," she told me in garden, learning respect earned. Age-wise, caring satisfying. Cromwell's review. Changes genuine, compassion unfakeable after years. Will waited 6 months ultimate test. Stay post-obligation? If leave, confirmed right. Stay, children back. Dinner with Eliza amid laughter. "Curious," I said, releasing control. 6 months later, spring morning, modified will sealed. At 10 o'clock, they arrived serene. "Free now," I said. "We want to stay," Leo declared. "Why?" "Home, family, important work," Charles said. Leo, geriatric certification. Penelope, aging psychology. Charles, non-profit management. Proposal, renounce inheritance, alter center. Tears flowed. I tore $500,000 will. New will. Charles, executive director. Leo, rehabilitation. Penelope, wellness, modest salaries. $4.8 million for national network. 10 centers in 15 years. Hugs followed. "Why?" Penelope asked. "You're transformed," I said. Resident meeting. Applause for expansion. Mercedes praising their blessing. Dinner as family. Plans to change elder treatment. Garden walk. At 76, legacy and changed lives. Dignity restored. Love actioned. Vengeance to redemption. Justice to grace map for families carried by my children. The story's end came full circle, with the Hope Center not just a sanctuary but a beacon for elder dignity nationwide. My children, once vultures eyeing my empire, now guardians of a legacy far greater than wealth. Charles led operations, with a humility forged from years of manual labor and resident interactions, ensuring every detail from meal plans to activity schedules honored the women's histories. Leo's rehabilitation programs became renowned, incorporating innovative therapies that helped women like Mercedes reclaim mobility and independence. His nightly studies paying off in certifications that elevated the center's medical standards. Penelope transformed the wellness initiatives into holistic havens, blending psychology courses with practical care like her arthritis treatments, fostering emotional resilience among residents who arrived, broken by family abandonments. The network expansion began swiftly. The first satellite center in Miami broke ground within a year, funded by my estate and drawing national attention from charities and policymakers. Tobias, redeemed by his peripheral role in the Betrayal, volunteered occasionally, sharing his own regrets to educate new staff on family dynamics. Eliza remained my confidant, overseeing daily operations with the same loyalty that had saved my secrets decades ago. Resident stories proliferated through Alice's memoirs, published as anthologies that inspired donations and awareness campaigns. At 78, I stepped back as honorary founder, watching my family thrive without greed's shadow. The ultimate victory wasn't the financial safeguarding or the legal triumphs, but the human alchemy, turning betrayal into unbreakable bonds. Richard's letters, once discarded, now framed in my office, reminded me daily of worth fought for. The stars over the gardens witnessed it all, a 72-year-old's resurrection into eternal legacy. Yet, challenges persisted in those final years, testing the transformation's depth. Charles faced a crisis when funding dipped during an economic downturn. Instead of reverting to old habits, he rallied residents for a community fundraiser, raising twice the needed amount through their shared talents art sales. Memoir readings, even knitting classes turned profitable with handmade scarves. Leo dealt with a resident's severe setback, a woman whose stroke mirrored his son's past illness. He worked overtime, drawing on personal pain to innovate adaptive exercises, earning a state award for elder care innovation. Penelope confronted her own demons when a new arrival mirrored her, pre-transformation, self-manipulative and entitled. Through patient sessions, she guided the woman toward self-reflection, healing her own lingering guilt in the process. The network grew to 5 centers within 3 years, each replicating Hope's model. Dignified apartments, therapeutic gardens, skill-sharing programs. Media coverage followed, with interviews where my children credited their second chance to my tough love, sparking national dialogues on elder abuse and family greed. I published my own memoir, From Betrayal to Bloom, detailing the fake confusion, the escape, the confrontation. Sales funded scholarships for elder education. Eliza's role evolved into mentorship, training new staff in loyalty's true meaning. Tobias reconciled fully, donating his inheritance share back anonymously. At family dinners, conversations shifted from properties to purpose, laughter genuine, hugs unforced. My health waned at 80, but surrounded by transformed kin and grateful residents, peace enveloped me. The legacy endured, not monuments but lives mended, dignities restored, a testament that redemption blooms from justice's soil. In quieter moments, reflections on the journey revealed profound lessons etched into our family's fabric. The initial betrayal, once a shattering wound, became the catalyst for growth none of us anticipated. Charles often shared how moving rubble that first day stripped his ego, revealing vulnerability he now channeled into empathetic leadership. Leo's excitement over small victories, like Mercedes' steps, taught him joy in service over self-gain. His programs now standard in geriatric care nationwide. Penelope's salon sessions evolved into therapy circles, where women shared betrayals mirroring ours, fostering communal healing that mended her fractured self-image. The Hope Network's expansion faced hurdles, bureaucratic delays, funding battles, but my children's resilience, honed over 5 punishing years, turned obstacles into opportunities, partnering with universities for research and governments for policies. Residents like Carmen and Miriam became ambassadors, speaking at conferences on ageism's toll, their voices amplified by our platform. Eliza's unwavering presence reminded us all of loyalty's power. Her monthly house checks in Florida, now symbolic visits to our origins. Tobias's redemption arc inspired a family reconciliation program within the centers, helping estranged relatives rebuild. My memoir's success led to a documentary, The Knitting Rebellion, chronicling our story from dinner, charade to triumphant legacy, viewed by millions. At 82, I handed full reins to my children, retiring to the Florida house for reflection. Dinners via video calls buzzed with updates. New centers opening, lives changed. The stars Richard and I once gazed at now oversaw a constellation of hope, proving that from deepest betrayal springs the brightest renewal. As the years waned, the true measure of our redemption crystallized in everyday miracles at the Hope Centers. Charles's administrative prowess ensured financial stability, implementing sustainable models that attracted Philanthropists drawn to our story of familial turnaround. Leo's innovations in therapy extended beyond physical rehab to mental health, creating peer support groups where residents mentored each other, reducing isolation rates dramatically. Penelope's wellness programs incorporated art and music, turning creative outlets into therapeutic tools that boosted cognitive health, with studies citing our centers as models for elder care reform. The network reached its 10th location ahead of schedule, spanning coasts and serving thousands, each site named after a pioneering resident like Carmen House for financial empowerment workshops. Media accolades poured in, but my children deflected praise, always crediting the test that reshaped them. Eliza, at my side until the end, co-authored a guidebook on elder advocacy, her insights from decades of service invaluable. Tobias established a scholarship fund in my name for women pursuing late-life education. Family gatherings, once tense, became celebrations of shared purpose, with grandchildren volunteering summers, learning early the value of dignity. My final days at 85 were spent in the original center's garden, surrounded by blooms we'd planted together. The legacy wasn't just structures or funds, it was the ripple. Policies changed, families mended, societies shifted toward honoring age. Richard's map had guided us all home. In the end, the script of our lives closed on a note of profound fulfillment, with the Hope Network standing as an enduring monument to transformation. My children, fully embodying their roles, expanded internationally, partnering with global organizations to adapt the model for cultural contexts. Charles's speeches at UN forums advocated for elder rights, drawing from personal atonement. Leo's research papers influenced medical curricula, emphasizing holistic care. Penelope's books on emotional aging became bestsellers, inspiring countless. Eliza passed peacefully at 90, her funeral a center-wide tribute. Tobias lived out his days volunteering, finding peace in service. Grandchildren carried the torch, innovating with tech for virtual family reconnections. My grave overlooked the gardens, inscribed, "Dignity Eternal." The story, once betrayal's shadow, became light for the world.